episode of Laker Connections where I decided not to do my hair. The Jets got lost in the sauce this evening, and we hope to get lost in the sauce that is Laker sports. We're also the recent champions of the most spectated WTOP 10 basketball game in history. I'm Aaron Paul Pierce Valentino.
And I'm Brian Rudman, who refuses to read Aaron's NBA comparison for me. Well, folks, let's get this show on the road with This Week in Laker Sports as we go to the history books and go over what happened in Laker sports over the past 7 days. Aaron, it was a big week on the lacrosse field.
Yes, absolutely. This past week, Oswego State men's lacrosse traveled to a castle where they took on a pair of Red Dragons in Oneonta and Cortland. Oswego got burned in both matchups, losing to Oneonta on Saturday 12-6, and then on Wednesday to Cortland 16-12. The Lakers can make the playoffs with a win on Friday night against Brockport. Brian, what went wrong in these two matchups for the Lakers?
Well, first off, my brother goes to Oneonta, and I've been there, and I can say there are no castles there. But Red Dragons do live there, and they are quite deadly. And they took care of business against the Lakers. 12-6 against loss against Oneonta, 16-12 against Cortland. The Oneonta loss is really the one that bites because you look at the season and you look at the history. Oswego's never beaten Cortland. So to say that, so you know that's going to be a tough matchup regardless. And you take a look at some of the highlights that went down on Wednesday against Cortland, and you could just tell Cortland was the better team. They got out in front and they led the whole way. Against Oneonta, it was just a deadly third quarter. Coming out of half, Oneonta won it 5-0 in the third quarter, and that flipped the game on its side. This week just proved that in order to win in big games in this conference, you have to play a full 60 minutes. You can't take any time off, right? You got to get out ahead, and you got to play from the lead, because we've heard coaches talk about it all year long. From soccer to hockey, now lacrosse, we're seeing it as well. Can't be chasing the game, and that's what this team was doing this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think both of us were a little bit surprised by that loss to Oneonta. I think that was when we expected them to win. And with actually the way the sketch worked out, if they had beaten Oneonta, I'm pretty sure they would be clinched into the playoffs. But because of how the schedule works out, they play Brockport Friday night, so they still have a chance to get that victory. Cortland's just so good. It's a dynasty in the making. It is a dynasty, not a dynasty in the making. They're a dynasty. Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a tough week for the men's lacrosse team, but now we move to the women's side as the Lakers split their 2 games this week, defeating the Potsdam Bears 19-10 last Saturday and falling to the Brockport Golden Eagles 16-5 yesterday. It was 2 very different first halves in these games. Against Potsdam, the Lakers led 10-2 at the break. Meanwhile, it was the Golden Eagles leading 10-1 at halftime yesterday. Aaron, despite the loss on Wednesday, the Lakers, they're right where they need to be to make a playoff push.
Yes, they are. Now let's go over some of the problems that they had in this last game against Brockport. Here's the big one. They let up 8 goals in that second quarter. That cannot happen this Saturday against Plattsburgh or eventually in the SUNYAC playoffs. If you're letting up 8 goals and in other quarters you're letting up 2, you're letting up 3, which is exactly what they did on Wednesday against Brockport, that's not going to help. Here's the current SUNYAC standings, how they line up. Oswego, they control their own destiny at the moment with a win against Plattsburgh Saturday. It's win and you're in. It's a simple task, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. The other problem was they only had 3 Lakers score in this game. Sela Wiley had a hat trick. She did her thing like normal. But then Julia Quirk and another Laker were able to get 1 goal apiece. So if you're the Lakers, you need to distribute the scoring more, and you need to score more, and you can't be letting up 8 goals in a quarter.
Right. I think this week, though, it showed exactly what we expected. Tough game against Brockport and a relatively easy game against Potsdam. You don't see them or Fredonia on the standings because they've already been eliminated from playoff contention. 500 is exactly where this team needed to be at this point in the season. It's what they needed to do last week. And at the end of the day, the Lakers did enough to put themselves in the position where you mentioned it, win this weekend, and they're in.
Yes, a simple task indeed. Well, maybe not. Let's go to the Diamond, as over the weekend, the Oswego baseball team played a 3-game set against the Brockport Golden Eagles. The Lakers took the first 2 games by final scores of 2-0 before falling in Game 3, 13-11. It was the Lakers' first SUNYAC loss of the year, and they are now tied with Cortland heading into a weekend series against them. So, Brian, the Lakers, they take a really important series in this one against Brockport.
Absolutely, and I think there are a couple things that I can take from this series. First off, congratulations to the seniors on this team. A nice senior day victory on Friday, 2-0. Taking 2 out of 3 is exactly what the Lakers needed to do against Brockport. It established them as definitively what we thought they're one of the top 2 teams in this conference. And yeah, they were close games throughout, but this is a talented Brockport team. But I think ultimately, here's my star of the weekend, Jacob Sanders. On Friday, 7 innings pitched, just 2 hits against, gave up 0 runs, didn't strike out a whole lot. But listen, when you're not allowing runners on base, that is fine. And this is exactly what Coach Landers needed to see. And this proves to me that this team can make a deep run in the SUNYAC playoffs. Because we've been wondering, right? Anthony Van Fossen's been pretty good at the top of that rotation. Kieran Finnegan's been their solidified, their bona fide ace. Having a third option, this is a 4-team, two-game elimination tournament at the end of the day with 4 teams. So you're going to be facing off with Cortland and Brockport, and you're probably going to see them multiple times, and you're going to need multiple wins. So getting Jacob Sanders to throw like this in a big game against a big team, that's exactly what they needed.
2 out of 3 is all you can ask for in any series. Any manager is going to tell you that, to take 2 out of 3, especially in a conference game like this. You're right, Jacob Sanders and Kieran Finnegan, they were unbelievable this series. They're going to need that. Brockport's got the best pitching in the SUNYAC, so if you're a little bit worried about those 2-0 games, well, they have the best pitching staff in the SUNYAC.
Oswego answered in those 2-0 games, though.
I'm sure that they will score more against Cortland. And that's what we're going to talk about after we take a quick break. When we come back, Brian and I will take a look into the future to see what is in store for Oswego Athletics this week. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Laker Connections on WTOP 10. That was the best block all year.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to Laker Connections, the best show on WTOP 10 with the best intro music. This is a Glow with the Flow type show, and now it's time for the week ahead, where Brian and I will look into a crystal ball and see what is ahead for Oswego State Athletics this week. Brian, why don't you get us started?
Oh, we're turning the fortune tellers here, are we?
Yes.
I like it. All right. Well, here it is. What ultimately may be the most exciting matchup in Laker sports for the entire year. The Oswego State baseball team will be hosting the Cortland Red Dragons this weekend in a 3-game set, both of whom come in at 11-1 in SUNYAC play. The 3-game set is a rematch of the last 5 SUNYAC championship matchups, the last one resulting in Cortland taking a 2-out-of-3 series. And it's now time to take a look at it. Aaron, not just the highlight in the SUNYAC baseball standings, but maybe one of the best matchups in the entire nation this week.
Yeah, no, you're right. Cortland comes in as the number 5 team in the country, and the 8th best team in the country is Oswego State. So this is honestly the premier matchup in Division III baseball this weekend. And you can catch it all on WNYO 88.9, the Laker Radio Network. Leon Godimer and myself will be on the call for this one. But yeah, Brockport is just kind of a warm-up for this Cortland team. This is a really good Cortland team. Like I said, they're ranked 5th in the country. We haven't talked much about the rankings this year, but it's 5 versus 18. Probably the best matchup in Division III baseball this year. You look, they're honestly pretty similar teams. Now, these are the 2 best SUNYAC teams in the SUNYAC. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. 2
best SUNYAC teams in the SUNYAC.
Because they both play in the SUNYAC. So it's going to be really interesting to see. It all starts with Kieran Finnegan and Sanders. You're going to see them this series. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And Laker offense starts begins and ends with Ryan Enos. He's going to have to be on his game this series. He's going to have to be driving in runs. He's going to have to be getting hits in order for them to be successful.
Absolutely. And look, here it is, folks, the premier matchup of the SUNYAC, like we mentioned. This is the one that the entire team, they've been waiting for it all year. We talked to Kieran Finnegan last week on the show, and it was clear that this team has an extra drive and some extra hunger after losing in that championship series to Cortland last year. And this is it. And listen, we can look at all the stats, and they match up pretty well. This weekend, it's going to come down to, with two teams with so much talent, who pounds the strike zone on the mound, who gets runners on base, and who finds a way to drive them in. That's what this weekend's going to come down to.
Yes, and that's going to be a theme of the show, win and you're in. As to the turf now, this week, Oswego State men's lacrosse team will try and punch their ticket to the playoffs Friday against the Brockport Golden Eagles. Brockport is 9-4 on the year and 4-2 in the SUNYAC and has already clinched their spot in the playoffs. This game is at 7 p.m., and you can watch it right here on WTOP 10. Brian, it's a simple task. Win and you're in.
That's right, my man. Friday Night Lights. Win and you're in. Does it get any more exciting than that? I'm excited to watch it, man. This is going to be a really good one. It's been a tale of two seasons for this Lakers squad, right? They started off really hot. They were 3-0 in SUNYAC play, and now they've dropped the last three ever since the schedule turned to the tougher part with Geneseo Oneonta and Cortland. But the one thing I'll say, yeah, they've lost to their tough opponents so far. They've been in close games in all of them. You take a look at the standings right here and just what you mentioned. Top four teams make the playoffs. Couple teams missing there, as we mentioned, just like with the women's standings we showed earlier in the show. New Paltz, they're already eliminated here. Oswego in a position to get in. Win and you're in. Potsdam or Oneonta, if they win and Oswego loses to Brockport, maybe a little bit of trouble. We'll have to see.
Yeah, if you're Sean Eccles and company, you really can't complain about the position you're in, right? You want to be able to control your own destiny to be able to get in the playoffs. And yes, it's a simple task. Win and you're in. Oswego, they've only won one of their last 8 matchups in against Brockport, and the last one came in 2019 in an 11-8 victory on the road. This is a team that has faced a lot of resilience this year. The SUNYAC Lacrosse Conference is really tough with teams like Cortland in it. So it's going to be all about the offense. They scored 12 against Cortland. If you can score 12 against Cortland, you can get some goals this weekend against Brockport to win this one.
Absolutely. The team's shown they can hang with the big boys. And Aaron, let me know if this sounds familiar to you down at the Laker Turf. Win and you're in.
Yes,
a little bit
absolutely.
of deja vu, actually, just like the men's side. The Oswego State women's lacrosse team will face a win and you're in situation when they face the good old Plattsburgh Cardinals this Saturday at the Laker Turf at noon. Aaron, a similar story that we just discussed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's pretty incredible that, you know, going into this final weekend, all three, really all four, softball as well, they can all be able to clinch their ticket to the playoffs. They all control their own destiny. But to get back to this women's lacrosse matchup, a couple of things definitely fell their way. They control their own destiny. Plattsburgh, fun fact, I actually didn't realize this. This Plattsburgh program is almost brand new. They have one matchup in their history, and it came in 2019, and Oswego crushed 23-4. Oswego can have similar success. This is a Plattsburgh program, though, that has had, 3 years now to build up. So it's a completely different team than what Oswego saw 3 years ago in 2019. You're going to look for Sela Wiley. You're going to look for Julia Quirk to have big games in this one. And you have to get the offense going. You couldn't get it going against Brockport. Well, now you have to get it ready. Now you have to get it going against the Cardinals.
Absolutely. Britt Howard and her squad, they're right where they want to be. And it all comes down to this weekend right here on WTOP 10. We have to take a quick break, but don't come anywhere. When we come back, Jake Johnson joins Aaron and I on the desk. For Oswego State athlete Wordle, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Only on WTOP.
DiCarlo on the rebound! Alex DiCarlo! Yeah, it's been a wild game so far. A lot of high scoring, so definitely tighten it up and play out that full 60 minutes.
Welcome back to the best show on WTOP 10, out on our own Oswego.
Did you hear that Bad Bunny's going to be in Canada over spring break, you know?
I heard that one.
Drink the cognac. The week.
Oh, my God.
roll it.
The Kind of Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty. The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of times.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Welcome back to Laker Connections. Joining us on the desk, our normal moderator, Jake Johnson. Well, we had so much success, Jake and I, a few weeks ago with Wordle that we'll try it again. Aaron and Jake will guess Laker athletes. If they get the name right, they get the point. If they get the number, team, or position, they get to keep guessing. You guys ready?
Yeah,
I think so.
sure. No,
Yeah, no, we're good.
All
right,
100%.
You guys sound confident. Aaron, you're new to this, so we'll let you guess
I
first.
didn't want to do this. Okay, I guess the team.
You guess a player
Any
name.
player you want.
Oh, I guess any player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ashlyn McAleer.
No.
All right, I'm going to go with Michael Gualtieri.
Nope.
Julia Quirk.
Nope.
All right, Ryan Eccles.
Correct team.
All right, I'm going to
He's
go
on two
with.
teams, Jake.
Good luck with
Well,
that.
I already guessed a hockey player, so it can't be that. I'm going to go
No,
with
you didn't.
Aiden Kenyon.
No, you didn't guess a hockey player.
I didn't.
You
say
guessed
that.
Michael
guessed soccer,
Gualtieri,
yep.
who's on the men's side.
Yep,
Okay,
so it's
so am I allowed to guess the sport? No, right? I
Yeah,
have to say
well,
that.
yeah, sure.
Josh LeBlanc.
So that's the right sport. So you get
Okay,
another
that's the
guess.
right sport.
Yep.
Did I get the right position, or you're not allowed to tell me?
No, you did not get the position right.
Okay.
We're off to a slow
Troy
start.
Robillard.
So that's the correct position. So you can now
Okay.
keep guessing.
Okay. Ben Addison.
Nope, that's wrong.
Ryan Bunka.
Nope, that's wrong. Come on.
Quinn Wormuth.
No.
Tyler Antonucci.
No.
Who was paired with Quinn Wormuth?
Oh my
okay.
goodness.
Come on.
Who's paired with Quinn Wormuth? It's been a long
Can I
time.
skip?
Hey, I'm gonna give you
Tristan
5 more
Francis.
seconds. No.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking.
Oh my goodness.
There's only one left, right? Yeah, and I
yeah.
have no idea who it is.
Okay, we're
Liam
moving
Haslam.
on. No.
Wait.
There were 2 left. Sorry. My
You
bad.
lied.
All right, it's Ryan Dickinson. We're moving on.
I said Ryan.
No, you
Dickinson.
didn't.
No, you did not.
You didn't.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
genuinely thought I did.
All right, back to the sport. I'm going to go with Ryan Enos.
No.
Fiona Higgins.
Right sport.
Tay Smith.
Nope.
Zoe Manning.
Yes, that's correct. Jake
Nice.
gets the point.
Nice.
1-0,
nice.
Jake Johnson. All right, Jake, you get the guess.
All right, I am going to go with soccer, and I'm going soccer.
Soccer is correct.
Nice. I'm going to go with Slater Busham.
No, that's incorrect.
Caleb Munsky.
Yes, that's correct.
Bing bong.
1-1. All right, we're starting to get on a roll here. Aaron, you get the guess.
Jeremiah Sparks.
Nope.
Logan Castiglione.
No.
Diamond Pickett.
No.
White. All right.
He already guessed.
Well, doesn't
guessed.
Castiglione play lacrosse?
And basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. I'm going to go
Aaron
with
doesn't understand the
Ryan
rules.
Enos.
No. Guys, this is bad,
We're running out
man.
of sports here. Ashley McAleer.
Correct sport.
Okay. Morgan Shines.
No.
Philomena Taggart.
No.
What position is it?
Oh, you got the position right. I apologize. You had the position right
It's-
with Shines. So it's a forward.
It's a forward.
Yep.
Ariella Haas.
No, that's incorrect.
Emily Gustafson.
No, that is also incorrect.
Simone.
Yes, Simone Bednarik is correct. She's playing at Nationals right now.
Yes, congratulations to her. By that.
Good luck. All right, Jay. Nope, Aaron, you get the guess.
Ryan
2-1.
Enos.
Nope.
Gavin Elston.
No.
Fiona Higgins. No, we already did softball. Celia Wiley.
No.
Jeremiah Sparks.
Yes, that's correct.
Nice.
2-2. All right, it looks like we're based on the timing. We're gonna have the last one. So Jake, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to kick it right back. Haven't had baseball yet. I'm going to go. Okay, never mind.
Celia Wiley.
No.
All right. We're running out of sports
I got
here.
it. I know who it is.
You probably don't. 5-second shot clock.
All right.
Westy Gray.
No.
back to sports. Women's sport.
Yes.
That narrows it down.
Grayson Madden.
That's correct.
How did you
Jake
get
wins
that?
it.
How did he
3
get
to
that?
2, 2-0 in Wordle. That's all the time we have. Jake wins Wordle. Time for a break. Coming up, Lakers showdown. We'll be right back.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna.
Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think
can't.
you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of times.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
Look at that. It's so sad.
Here's our weather elements and our social media Saturday. And that's optional.
Hello, everybody. For some reason, these two were worried that the teleprompter needed to be changed. Of course it did not. I'm Aaron Valentino, and welcome to Lakers Showdown.
I would have gone with something about musical chairs.
I am never allowed to win this game, we decided to change it up this week. Jake will be debating Brian in Lakers Showdown. I will ask the guys 3 questions. After a minute 30-second debate, I will decide who has the better answer. Let's get started. First question. The Lakers stud bats in their lineup both have batting averages above 450, that being Ryan Enos and Paul Tamero. Enos currently sits at 476 and Tamero at 450. With 6 games left to play in the SUNYAC, will both these guys finish above the 450 mark, especially with the Cortland Red Dragons coming into town tomorrow? Brian, start us off.
All right, so the answer is yes. That's it. I really don't know if I really need to make much of an argument here because these guys are just so talented and they've done so much throughout the year that they've already proven that they can do it. And Aaron, you said it yourself when we were talking about it. Brockport's the best pitching team in the SUNYAC, and if these guys are up here
That's just
already,
factually incorrect.
No, that is factually correct.
No.
Either way, Brockport is one of the best pitching teams in the SUNYAC. So if they're going to do it, if they can keep that up against Brockport, I don't see any reason why not. Ryan Enos has proven that he can hit against anyone. Same thing with Paul Tamero. They've been doing it for years. They're at the top of the lineup. And also, they are significantly driven this year to do well. Ryan Enos is top 5 in almost every statistical category that you can get. They're so talented. Take a look at
that. So my couple stats here. You're going to look at this. Going to be that rotation for Cortland. Zach Durant's 5-0 on the season with a 1.64 ERA. His batting average against, .170. Brendan Anthony Fusco, 7-1 on the year, 1.69 ERA with a .199 batting average against. Last guy, Ryan Flansburgh, little higher ERA, 4-1 though on the year with a .22 batting average. We saw Ryan Enos and Paul Tamero struggle against Brockport. They did not look what they have looked all season long, and that's why Cortland, they're the best pitching staff. It's going to be Ryan Weiss. It's going to be all these other guys. Jacob.
Let me ask you one question.
All right. Sound the horn, Bubba Turgeon. Jake, very convincing argument. Jake gets the point. to the men's lacrosse team. They have one game remaining in their schedule, and that comes tomorrow under the lights against the Brockport Golden Eagles. It is win and you are in scenario for. It is a win and you're in scenario for the Lakers. Jeez, Jake, you write so heavy. Between the Potsdam Bears and Oneonta, the Lakers have relied heavily on 3 players this season in their lineup. For you guys in the X Factor going into the regular season finale, Jake, you start this one.
All right, so I kind of had 2, and then I was like studying it. I was looking it over, and I'm actually going to go between the pipes with Aiden Kenyon. He's a guy that in this last game against Cortland, he kept it really close. That game could have been a blowout. He had a number of saves that we haven't seen him make all year. And if they want to win this game against Brockport, it's going to come down between the pipes. He has a 9.77 goals allowed average against, 165 saves, 7-5 record on the year, and almost a 60 save percentage. He's really picked it up in the last couple weeks, Aiden Kenyon. He's really understood his assignment. He's trying to get the ball quick out of that stick, get it to those middies and attackers, and let them go to work. Aiden Kenyon's got to be solid between the pipes if they want to move into the playoffs.
Jake, you bring up a good point, and Aiden Kenyon has been solid between the pipes. And yes, that's something they need. But if you take a look at that Laker Connections promo that likes to play so often, what did you say way back when we were talking about soccer? In order to win, you need to score goals. And guess who scores goals when this team wins games? It's Weston Gray. He's the factor. Kenyon's been so consistent, but when this team is winning, it's Weston Gray getting the job done. Their 3 SUNYAC wins. He has a combined total of 6 goals, and he hasn't been there in their 3 losses. Just 3 goals total. He had 1 game that was scoreless. And the 2 biggest wins for the team all year, Gray had 4 goals and 5 goals against Cayuga and Utica. When this team wins, it's because Weston Gray is rolling, so that's why he's the X factor.
All right. The producers are telling me to get in here. So, you talked about scoring goals. I hear it every week on the commercial. Brian gets the point.
Should have went with Gavin Elston.
A similar situation comes for the women's lacrosse team this week. A win, and they advance to the SUNYAC playoffs. They take on the Plattsburgh Cardinals Saturday at noon. The star trio of the Lakers, Stila Wiley, Julia Quirk, and Shay McConnell, have combined for a total of 92 goals this season with 1 game to play. The team needs 8 more goals. Can they get it done in the final contest against the Cardinals? Brian, start us off.
Yes, absolutely. And Aaron, you bring up a good point. Jake, that was an essay that you wrote for Aaron to read. And also shout out to Aaron for fist pumping as we were rooting on the women's lacrosse team. Yes, 8 goals. This group can absolutely do this. Wiley, McConnell, and Quirk. First of all, considering Stila Wiley's been known to drop 7 goals in a game, 5 goals in a game, 4 goals in a game, against some of the teams who sometimes struggle, and Plattsburgh is one of those teams that
you don't think they're going to study, maybe watch some film?
Well, sometimes against teams, that doesn't seem to slow Stila Wiley down much. And then Shay McConnell and Julia Quirk, they've been rolling recently as well. Pretty good chance that this is going to happen given how McConnell and Quirk have been the entire year and the fact that Stila Wiley, like I said, been known to drop more than just a hat trick. When the Lakers need goals, these 3 are the ones that step up. They're going to need goals this weekend.
So, I agree with your point that they need to step up, but they're not going to be able to. Plattsburgh knows this team. They've studied. It's the last game of the season.
They've only played them once in history, and none of them were there.
They've studied them all year long. We have WTOP. We film every game, and Plattsburgh sees that. Madison Davis has 22 goals on the year. Isabel Limbo, 21 goals. And Logan Castiglione has 10 goals. Those 3 have, every time that Stila Wiley, Shay McConnell, and Julia Quirk are shut down, those 3 are the ones that step up. Madison Davis has 22 goals and 23 assists for a reason. She is that next option on the team when everyone else is shut down, and she's done that all year long.
Have a little faith, man.
All right, let's sound the buzzer here. Jake, you kind of dug yourself into a hole. Yeah, they're going to get 8 goals this weekend. Brian gets the point and the victory.
We'll check the box score.
All right, we'll see you next week then when we check the box score.
This is going to be an insane week.
It's an exciting weekend.
And it's our final weekend of sports directors.
I want to say one thing before we go. Jack Joanitis, we know you're watching. Hope you feel better, buddy.
Hope you feel
get
better,
well
Jack.
soon. We miss having you in the studio, so get better soon.
Absolutely. Get better, Jack. That's all the time we have for tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. The Oswego State men's lacrosse team faces off with Brockport. It's win and they're in. We'll see you there. Have a good night.
Oh!